Well, I guess you can stay on that, okay?
Okay.
I can take,
November 19th.
I can take the Heritage Commission pending, I just have to confirm that it doesn't conflict with
Looks like,
a couple other
hold
things.
on, I'm looking at calendar.
Past meetings have been at 7 o'clock, the third Thursday.
Also on Thursdays.
Okay.
Would you rather be 4 o'clock on Thursdays or 7 o'clock on Thursdays?
Either one is fine.
Okay. It would be easier for me to be there at 7 than at 4,
All right, then I'll take
conservation.
conservation.
Okay.
Oh, I can also take energy.
I feel like that's a good place for you. Okay. Does anybody want to go on sustainability? No?
Nothing,
Do they
you
need
haven't had a
somebody?
member for 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
That's kind of
That's done.
And they're not meeting regularly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, if they need somebody, they can let us know, I guess.
That's exactly.
And then jump over.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay. Since we've taken care of the board and the meeting for committees, liaisons, what else do you have, town administrator?
I have 2 items. I'll actually start with miscellaneous. No, I won't. I will start with the request to extend funds from the revaluation capital reserve fund for the revaluation that has already started. And we do have enough money to,
Pay for the whole thing?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
this is just the first installment, but we do have enough for all installments. I'll give you that.
Do you need a motion?
Yes.
He's got the motion,
Move to authorize the withdrawal of the amount not to exceed $8,731.25 from the reevaluation capital reserve fund in order to pay Municipal Resources Incorporated for the first installment due towards the 2026 statistical reevaluation for the town per the contract. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. What else do you have?
Okay, now moving to regular business. A couple of things, I'll start with miscellaneous. I didn't have anything for you this week. By next meeting, I will have a restated year end for 2025. Brenda Vittner, our financial consultant, and myself have been in touch with Mike Campo at Plodzik and Sanderson, and there were there was some grant money and a number of other funds that were not properly included in the audit. So I'll have a new restated report for you by your next meeting. And if I get something earlier, I'll certainly send it out to you prior to that. Now, jumping back, given the default budget, the board has 2 options. By statute, you can reconsider the budget. Typically, you would revise the budget from what you presented the first time and have a special meeting and election to reconsider the budget. Or you can obviously look to cut money from the budget to meet the default budget. We need to cut just a hair under $400,000 if you want to accept the default budget and move forward.
Have you made any inroads if we were to cut?
I have certainly looked through the budget. What I would ask the board, if you decide to accept the default, is that you would give me some direction this evening, and then I would call a department head meeting and start there, come back to the board with what we could cut, and the board could revise and refine as they saw fit.
And do we have to make that decision now on the default?
You don't have to make the cut decision on the default now. We actually have until the end of June to figure out what we want to
Thank you.
remove if that's the route you go. We do have some time constraint if you want to call a special meeting.
My sense is, I mean, my read of the election was that folks seem to have come in and voted against the town budget out of sort of spite related to the school budget. That's anecdata, but I think it's enough of a possibility that I'm hesitant to just accept the default budget, knowing how little fat there is in the town budget as it is.
If you recognize Karen, I think she's going to reflect what we've all heard.
So, I'm gonna just step back. When I was given the ballot to proofread, I'm very involved in the process. And I said to Denise, and she can confirm this, our taxes, if we pass the operating budget, our taxes are gonna go up $5.24. And she said, no. She talked to Andy, and we have to put that wording there. We have to put the tax impact. I thought it was an increase. I have since spoken to a large number of people, and Tom Dronsfield was in my office the other day when one of the library personnel came in and said, I voted no because I can't afford that increase. And she said, everybody that came in said, we can't afford that increase. And I said, I'm glad you said that. It's not an increase. Out of the town portion of the tax rate, that's what that is. And she said, oh, but that's not clear, and nobody thinks that's clear. On the unofficial Neighborly page, I noticed a post. So I commented on the post, and the post was, I can't afford $5 and something cents increase, so I voted for the less of the two evils, the $4 and something cents increase. So I wrote on the Facebook post, no, that's not an increase, this is it. And then I called the person who originally posted the post, and he said, that's not how I understand it, and that's not how my people understand it. We think that that's the increase. So, and there's also been several Facebook posts saying that that was the increase. So people in what I've witnessed and heard by at least 50 people, that everybody thought that that was what the increase was gonna be, either $4 increase or $5 increase, so they voted against it. So I understand that by law we have to put that, but we need to put some more wording out there so people understand. Because like me, I'm involved in it every day, and I thought that was the increase. Linda Reinhold thought that that was the increase. She's a tax collector.
That's a question that has come up many times.
Yeah.
Did the wording change from last year? Because I don't remember having this discussion
No,
last year.
we've used standardized wording. There are two ways you can do it. You can do just the straight portion that the warrant article makes up. Some towns choose to break it down by $1,000 value, which gives you a little different number, but still makes it look like you're going to have a whopping increase.
But that was a lot of feedback that I heard.
Thoughts on this would be, at least my thought is that if we decide to go for, to reevaluate it again, we should look at the budget one more time. Make an effort, instead of saying it's the same one, look at it, see if there's any opportunity for changes. If we come to the decision there is no change, we can still move forward with the special date.
Well, if we have a special meeting, then we're gonna have to come prepared with that for sure.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah.
I think you could adjust the budget down if you took $100,000 or in the neighborhood of $100,000 out of the operating budget that was presented. You'd get it under 6 million. It's not going to make a huge difference in the tax rate, but it would be more appealing. It would be under 6 million. And in talking with department heads, I think we could pretty easily find $100,000 that we could take out. It's going to be extremely difficult to take $400,000 out of the budget without severely changing services you offer.
I'd rather not touch the proposed raises that we put in there. I would rather leave that part alone, see if we can find 100K some other areas.
So that's my concern fundamentally is like, a lot of that increase in the budget relative to the last fiscal year had to do with healthcare. And so when you cut from a budget, you can't, it's really hard to find like a bunch of little numbers, you gotta start with a big number. And, we'd be punishing people who work for the town
Exactly.
unduly.
The healthcare increase, as you're aware, was around $250,000. And in years past, Health Trust has given me an estimate, 6 or 7 months prior to it taking effect and padded it heavily. And when we actually got to July 1st of the following year, the increase has been maybe 40% of what they estimated. Last year, that didn't happen. The increase was the increase to the penny, and the budget was extremely tight. We actually went over on the health insurance premium, so this year I budgeted at what they told me the increase was gonna be, which,
Is there any way to get an updated number on that sooner than July 1st?
they will tell me in May.
Okay. Maybe like beginning May, like end of May?
That's gonna be a quick
May's a really
turnaround.
long
May.
time there.
It varies a little bit, but it's always in May that I get the final revision.
Well, my thoughts at this point is that if we could find 100K somewhere, I like what you're thinking, Andy. If we can find it somewhere, but I'd like to throw it back to the department heads. They probably know what they really need more than anything else at that point, to see if they can come up with some of those funds.
Well, there's at least $50,000 in paving that doesn't need to be there since paving passed,
That's one, obviously, at this point.
and that's pretty easy.
And see if we can find the rest, leave, labor alone for the raises. I don't want to touch that whatsoever. Mr. Tappan, you have a question, please?
John Tappan, 187 Stepping Stones Road. The misunderstanding or lack of understanding of what the tax impact numbers mean, it is explained in the voter guide, but a lot of people don't read that. I think you probably can't actually put it in the ballot article, but,
Yeah.
could there be a sign or a big poster when you go into to vote in the hallway, right in front of you, that explains, this is what the tax impact numbers mean, as a last resort, because even if you put it in the e-crier, you put it in the voter guide, and you tell people in meetings, and it came up at the deliberative session, same question was asked, there's still a lot of people that don't get it. The other point I'd like to make, and I didn't get to send this out to you, is that the problem with passing the budget is not a new problem. You've barely squeaked by the last 2 years. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years in a row when the budget got about 65%. And then budgets started going up very fast. You had large tax increases. 2 years ago, just barely passed. Then there was a little bit of respite, and then of course this time it didn't pass. So the writing has been on the wall for a while, that the voters were not happy with the budget, and were looking to cut something out of their taxes.
Thank you.
I think the things that's missing is an articulation of the value that the voters are getting. I mean, like some of the things that the town is, all of the things that the town is spending money on, to my mind, are things that people in town say they want, right? And it's hard to, for example, like, do we want to go back to a fire department that's only here from 9 to 5, right? I don't think folks are going to want that kind of thing. But, my being in favor of the, sort of having a further discussion with the town insofar as that can be done, to me, is a matter of leveling with folks about, well, what is it really gonna mean to cut money, right? What's the snow plowing gonna look like, for example, if we have a bad winter, that sort of thing. I wanna make sure we're having enough communication with the folks in town such that nobody's surprised if they truly do want to cut money from the budget. That's their prerogative. We need to lay it out, what that's really gonna mean.
Strategic governance.
Maybe the thing to do is have some listening sessions over the next month or two and some more education. Have people come in, actually, maybe we can talk to some people about it. No, maybe it's just confusion, maybe it's they don't want a full-time fire department. I don't know why we're picking on the fire department, but, yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't know what gets cut, because I went through earlier today trying to find money. And there's the $50,000, there's the $20,000 we give the health agencies, that's 70, like, there's the rec budget for 15, like, do people not want the annual Easter egg hunt anymore? Do we cut $20,000 from the library so they can't buy new books? Like, I don't know that that's gonna make people happy, there's not a lot of extra money in here.
Yeah, it's just, nibbling around the edges without touching the big
Mhm.
stuff.
Or do they think we'd have too many people, and they would like the dump to only be open one day a week? I mean, I don't know,
Mhm.
I can't imagine that that's what people want. So maybe we could look at a schedule of listening sessions, find out what people actually want. Maybe we could ask the department heads for a
Mhm.
best budget and then a like worst case scenario budget. So
I
we can
think-
present it.
As I mentioned, I think we can definitely take some money out of the budget without affecting service to a great degree. There's a few things in there that need to be done, should be done, but could be cut. As I said, I think we could easily get the budget under $6 million without closing the transfer station or doing away with 24/7 fire and police, that sort of thing.
Okay, well, I think we should see that budget and then see what happens if we
Mhm.
cut 400,000.
I will go ahead and start the schedule for the special meeting then,
Mhm.
support an agreement to that.
I think first we should,
I'm just saying that because there are some time constraints as to what you have to do per the RSA if you want to call a special meeting.
I don't have a problem with you calling, but I do think we should have some more listening sessions before we go straight to a special meeting. I think there's
Okay.
some more things we have to think about before we just be like, let's ask for more money.
So can we ask the department heads?
Yep.
To work with you to see where there might be some opportunity. Obviously, we don't wanna cut essential services, we don't wanna cut labor, but if there's some things they can give up, it shows that the board is trying to move in the direction that they voted for.
Yeah.
Yep. I think all the department heads have already done that,
Okay.
for the most part, and we'll schedule a meeting and get together as a group.
I think it's important to note, though, as you're cutting things, what does that mean?
Mhm.
It means we're not doing X, Y, Z.
Right.
So that people really understand, like, what, even if it doesn't look like something's changed, something's changed.
Mhm.
Are they willing to do that, or would they rather spend more money? Those are the choices, because we don't have a lot of fat in our budget. I don't think there's any fat in our budget,
That's what, why I'm
other than the
asking.
paving, 50,000.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm asking the department heads to come forth, so they can say, well, I can cut this out of my budget, but this is what it's gonna be.
Okay.
And like you said, we can cut the egg hunt.
Right, but but I think we have to tell people, right?
Right.
Like, if we have to
Yeah,
cut
sure.
$400,000, it's going to include all of these things, you decide.
People need to know what they're losing.
Exactly. All right, I think we got a direction at this point, Andy. You'll let us know when our drop dead date is for this.
Yes. Yep, I've got
special
the legal guidelines for doing it in front of me, so.
Is there a, I'm reading the legal authority of your memo here. Is there like from the point where we announce the first meeting, how many days does that?
Yes, there is. You have to post your meeting at least 18 days before the first session. You have to leave 28 days
That's
between
Mhm.
the two sessions. Not fewer than 28 days, not more than 60 days.
And forgive me, what is are the two sessions, do they have express purposes of their own, or are they both the same?
Yes, the first is the deliberative session, where you would discuss it with the community. Also, with the special meeting, the only thing you can talk about is the operating budget. Any other warrant articles are off the table for reconsideration, so it's a quirk of the SB2 process. It was included that the select board, if you're an SB2 town, has the ability to call the special meeting if the operating budget fails.
Okay.
Just sort of as a safeguard.
All right, I think we have some direction at this point. Anything else in this area? Well, thank you. Consent agenda is next on the line. Is there anything you want to take out? I'll entertain a motion.
So, I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second? Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's the minutes.
That's my special pen.
Can I borrow your pen?
I notice there's no old business.
That's fantastic.
I have nothing.
Is there any new business? Nothing at this point. Is there any non-public?
There is not, the fire chief couldn't join us this evening, so.
Okay. Anything else for the board?
No.
I move to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries.
Very efficient meeting.
Pretty good, huh? I've had a little bit of experience.